Now, some of these might be, to make sure you have enough copies, might have some underlining in them, but that is our proposal. They're all the same. Some of them have underlining, some of them don't.
Oh, okay.
Pretend you never saw the legislative, whatever they call that.
Thank you.
So if you have any questions, if you want Matt to go through it line by line on what was changed, that's fine, or you can just, if you have any questions you want to ask, you can explain why the changes were made.
When you say retroactive, I'm assuming you just mean to the beginning of the fiscal year, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
And I think you're talking about the first paragraph of 18,
Yes.
Article 18.
Mm-hmm.
And just so it's clear, with respect to the effective date of any increase, whether it's moving up, all that would be to the retroactive
Okay.
increase. There you go.
And what was the change you made on 14?
There's more changes in 18. 1802, we're asking for the same wage increase as a general county employee without putting millage rollback.
Okay.
And in the addition, the 3% compression that you're offering, the way you had worded it, we were concerned that if someone got promoted to, appointed to field training officer, sergeant, anything like that, that they would lose out on that compression because they would not be 2 consecutive years in service. So
Okay.
we're just saying 2 consecutive certified years of service bargaining unit employees. So that everyone 2 years with certified experience would get the 3% compression. Therefore, there's no confusion with who may or may not get it, because we've had that happen in the past. And then in year 3, the rollback and all that is gone as well. We're just trying to guarantee a 3% increase.
Okay. You don't have any questions on that one? All right.
Do you want to talk about the,
So in Article 14, realizing that there's several grievances out on this right now, knowing what you do for other county employees, we're more than willing to give back the merit roll for an 80-hour mark. Every other 12-hour employee that we know of in the county gets overtime after 80. We would like to be the same. And we realize that they have the merit rule, and we would like to give that back to you for the 80.
So a little back, what he's talking about is there's a disagreement in the reading of the contract when it comes to productive time as it relates to holiday pay. There's a bunch of grievances out there on that. This is only affecting the holiday pay, correct me if I'm wrong, Matt. So we do not want to concede that our interpretation of the contract is that the holiday pay is productive time, and that the contracts are trumps the merit rules. So, but it was kind of hard to discuss these. That's why we told the grievances and decided to come here and talk about this, something that we would be willing to negotiate with you to clarify the language for the holiday pay and the productive time. But they would like the 80 hours straight time. Does that make a little better sense on that? Okay.
And another thing around this article is, this is not reducing, and I don't think it says it, but we don't want it to be interpreted as reducing the hours of work that employees currently have available on their normal work schedules. Does that cover that?
Right, we don't want you to change the schedule to 80 hours. We still want the built-in overtime, obviously, the schedule we have done.
For anyone outside the admin shifts?
Yeah, yes.
And there's no opposition to where if it's, we talked earlier, if you want to split it up over a 2-year period or whatever, there's no opposition to that. The real reason behind it, we understand that there's a certain amount of money, and clearly you have so much overtime. I don't think two hours of built-in overtime is going to break the bank, since you're working so much more than that, is to kind of find these places to where that we can get the bargaining unit members a little bit more money, because overall, that's what we're trying to do, is get people in the door and keep people here working for Volusia County Department of Corrections. And those little bitty nuances, I know it's not something that you guys have wanted to look at, but we went from the 86 straight time to the 82 straight time, and we appreciate that, we understand it. But we're just looking for ways to try to boost up a little bit, so that we don't have this retention and problem with hiring people. It's just, we think it's very integral to the mission, I think, that both sides are on, is to staff the jail. Senior officer? Or is that it? Senior officer? Or do you have more?
No, I don't know.
The second thing, and we had a management meeting, and we were talking with Mr. Demore and the management team about senior officer. Senior officer's classification in the contract. And I understand, the bargaining unit understands why Mr. Demore is trying to lower the 6-year senior officer plan to where they are able to get it at 3 years. One of the sources, and there's not an opposition to that, if you look at the people on the back end of that, your senior officers, and since we started negotiations since we unionized, that has been a concern about everybody getting compacted and the people at the beginning getting more than the rewarding the loyalty. One of the things brought up at the meeting, and this is why we saved it to come here and talk about it in negotiations, was a senior officer 2 position, or a corporal position. Corporal's already in the PERT contract. I mean, it's already a listed classification. I think that's something that the county should look at, is how, if you want to do that and change that to 3 years, that there's a senior officer or a senior officer 2 position where you get 5%. Would you say, Matt, 10 years?
10 years.
10 years, because that fixes the guys on the back end as well. And it would not hurt the officers that stay for 10 years either. So.
Okay, so what you're proposing is senior officer at 3 years, and then a senior officer 2 or corporal at 10 years?
Right, and this is, I know what the contract says, it lists corporal. I don't know if corporal's a bad word, because it kind of implies supervisor. But I'm sure we could work out something.
Well,
to
some
work-
other classification at 10 years.
Right, like corporal can be considered for the policy purposes a senior officer too. We're just talking about that additional 5% to reward the tenure people,
Okay.
if we're gonna lower it to 3 years. Because you have a couple of people in this room that just got at 6 years, they're 5% for senior officer. You lower it to 3 years, so the 3-year officer is now right up there with the 6-year officer. That's where the concern lies. So we would just ask you to take a look at that, and I didn't have the policy, but I think you guys have the policy for changing to 3 years for the senior officer.
Any questions? Yeah.
If we ever get to a point where we can TA wages with you guys, we obviously will TA the insurance, and
Okay.
That needs
we
to
had
be
put out retirement, just added a wallet,
Right.
and Jeff lost his mind on that and left the room, so I'm not real sure where we went with that, but we can TA that. The bonus was fine, the retro, or the 3-year bonus, we'd like to talk about it a little bit, but we're good with that.
What do you mean by you want to talk about it?
Just how it would be distributed. It would be, I would assume, for the 3-year contract. We're already into it, so. And then we have terms of agreement out there. There's a bunch of stuff we could get rid of.
You want to clarify that? Yeah, sure.
As far as going back to the 80, it would be effective retroactively. There's a little bit of confusion.
You want us to go
Yeah,
back and calculate
recalculate,
everybody's
yeah.
paychecks since October?
To October 1, 2023. Now, whether that means we would go and,
I think if they go to this, and we're fine with, say, right away, like it.
oh,
next
okay,
check,
go
we're fine.
forward. So
Correct.
this language needs to be,
But then the other end of it would be the grievances, we would win the grievances.
there we go, okay.
Okay,
Because
so
you got
you're
people
saying
waiting on
the,
them.
if
We don't
we
want-
went to 80.
If you go to 80, we're fine with whatever,
Going
whomever we
forward.
ratify.
Forgive me for that. What a nightmare that would be.
Yeah. Exactly. All right.
All right.
Well, we'll have to go to discuss.
Thank you.
I don't know what to do.
There should be two, both 18 and 14.
Is these kids' pension? He's still sorting.
There is 3, yes.
Should be 3 pages.
The last person.
No, you didn't.
Put them together for you.
All right, do you have it?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, wait, there's more coming.
Last one, so this will be yours.
There we go. Give me one back there. Hours worked in overtime, 18, okay.
Okay, so since 18 is on top, we'll start with that one.
Okay.
So for 1801, it's pretty much what we proposed, and I think what you guys were looking for. We just clarified that anyone who's on the payroll as of September 30th and still employed at the date the contract is ratified would receive that. $1.75 or $2, depending on their classification. So I think that addresses your retroactive concern. And it applies to the entire fiscal year, so it would start October 1st. Okay, and so for 1802, I think we addressed your concern in terms of like FTO, that kind of thing. So what we've changed it to is in a bargaining unit position. So anybody who's in a position that's in this bargaining unit, or has 2 or more years of service in a bargaining unit position, will get the 3%. So I think that should address the concern that you raised. But let us know if it doesn't. And then for 25-26, we left it at the 3% as long as there is not a rollback rate. And just so you guys know, I mean, the council basically adopted a rollback rate this year, and everybody got 5%. So if you were to have the language that you proposed, you'd be limited to that 3%. So. With this, even if they adopt a rollback rate millage, you will get the general wage increase that anybody else gets. You got it? Anybody have any questions or anything?
Well, I have a couple of questions right off
Okay.
the bat. I'm sure there'll be many others once we
Sure.
caucus. And I may be missing something in 1801-01, forgive me. And maybe elsewhere. We want to make clear that it's the next closest and highest, even though that's obviously what you mean. But when somebody moves, it's to the next closest level, or it's also the next highest level, which is
Right.
clearly what you intend.
That is what we intend,
That was the
yeah.
intent,
Yeah.
that's how it was costed out at the highest, we wouldn't take you back.
We wouldn't put someone.
So that's why we stuck it in there. That's why.
Okay.
Okay, so just think about that.
Sure.
And the other things before we either caucus and/or start asking additional questions now would be, with respect to the millage thingy, we don't want, what we were trying to do is just make sure that if it was higher, we don't care why it was higher, we get it. In other words, we get the wage increase if it's more than 3%. If it's higher than 3%, we don't care why. If somebody in the community wins the lottery and wants to donate it to the community, and therefore, for that reason, we can get 5%, great. We just don't want to talk about it being pursuant to the millage
Okay.
rate thing. That's what our purpose was.
Okay, that's not the way your proposal was written, but that's okay.
Well,
We
if it isn't,
understand,
then.
we understand what your purpose is.
If it isn't, then that's my fault. If it wasn't, then that's my fault.
Okay.
So, anyway, ask away, guys.
I don't think
So,
Any of y'all got any questions?
Not on wages yet.
On wages.
Okay.
all right, so do you have the other one?
Article 14 should have been attached to that as well.
Underneath.
You got both,
Oh.
right?
Making me do all that work.
Flip the page.
So on 14, we kept the 82, because that is what we have authority for, and that's where we're staying. We added some language in 14.04 to make it clear that the assignment over overtime will be based on whatever procedure you've worked out with management. Because I think the whole idea of having a procedure worked out that was outside the contract was that it could be discussed and changed.
Correct.
So we wanted to make sure that was clear, because the way your proposal was written, it kind of implied that it would be what it is now. And we all may decide that that's not working and want to be able to change it. So that's why we put that in.
That's legitimate as I speak out of turn.
Okay. And then 14.05, we believe addresses your holiday concern. So if a holiday falls within a previously scheduled vacation, then it would be considered productive time. So, but it's got to be something you scheduled in advance.
Okay.
Okay? And that's it.
So with that being said, do we have an answer for grievances yet then?
The pending grievances. We didn't give you a proposal on it, but it's part of the discussions, or at least we understood that was the case.
I haven't even seen the
I haven't seen
grievances.
it yet.
I haven't actually
I've
even
heard
seen
about
the
it.
grievances. I've heard about them, but I haven't seen them, so I can't really
But
comment
the
on it.
grievances are told, because we were going to try to work.
Right, but I mean, I haven't even seen what they say,
Okay.
to be
I think,
honest. Well, I don't think
Where
either
are
one
they?
of us has seen it. Maybe it's-
I guess.
I know there's an email that they were
Mark-
told.
Mark has,
Go with Director Swanson.
he has
Okay.
2 of them for sure, and the other ones made it through one award and then they held them.
yeah.
So-
But we agreed
Okay.
mutually to hold it until we talked about it. But
Yeah,
Which means they're gonna be good then, right?
Yeah.
Is there 7 total? Is that accurate?
Me, him, Miranda, 2 Casanovas, Lamondi, and I think audit.
7, okay, so 7's accurate. So there's 7 based on that for around Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Correct.
so was that?
No one did anything for Veterans
I
Day.
don't think we got anything.
No, the Veterans Day, I think we resolved all that.
That was last year.
Yeah, that was resolved.
Okay. Well,
So are you grieving, was it vacation, was it holiday time during a scheduled vacation?
Yes,
Correct.
correct.
It's this.
So that would be retroactive, right? Yeah, so we could make this retroactive to the beginning of this, to the beginning of the fiscal year. That would address it,
Okay.
right?
Because I was going to ask, because I don't want a bunch coming out of the woodworks now, so that would, okay. So it would be retroactive back to the beginning.
For the
October
7.
1.
That actually
For the
took
7.
effect.
For everybody.
Yeah.
Right. if
Because
they
it's my
file a
understanding it
grievance.
involves the day of Thanksgiving, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So if we put it back to October 1,
Just when you have Veterans Day, it would settle the 7 grievances that we
Right.
currently have.
okay, it would settle the grievances that we currently have,
Okay,
all right?
okay.
I'm okay with that.
So, do you want to talk?
So do you guys want to-
And I guess, did you have anything on the senior officer or?
Yeah, that's, oh, it's really outside the contract, first of all, so, but we're not going to do any additional classifications at this
Okay.
point.
Okay.
Let's chatter.
Let's
What
check.
about,
Oh, go ahead.
the other open articles? If we were able to TA all this today, do you want to?
What other open ones?
Retirement, wallet, insurance,
Insurance?
same article as the original contract, terms of agreement, you know, all the ones that don't mean anything. I have all the numbers, I can give you in a second.
That'd be good, because then we can
14
double check.
obviously is here, 17 is insurance, 18 we have is wages, 23 is retirement, 25 term of agreement, And then bonuses? That would be probably appendix.
Yeah, what was your change on the bonus?
Bonuses.
No, there's no question, we just don't have a copy, we've not TA'd a copy to put into the contract.
Oh, okay,
All these are non-TA'd articles.
yeah,
So 14, 17, 18, 23, 25 bonuses,
okay.
I think that's it.
And retirement, you want the, are you
They
referring to
currently
the
already
change you
give
gave
them
us
the
last
wallet.
time?
We only added the
Right,
name
the wallet, yeah.
Right, and we never got that back, that was when Mandel had left.
But I just wanted to make sure this is the one you wanted us to
Should be
consider.
the last one that I had given you.
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Would whisper say?
Okay. All right.
I don't want to talk about it on camera.
Okay. All right, I guess we'll caucus and
Okay.
let you know. Thank you.
Let us know when you're ready.
All right.
Myself.
What do you see? This? Blue cop?
We proposed it before, but.
You said you wanted to show them. Two pages, Rich. Two pages, Rich. Three, two
Have
pages.
the process first.
I'm mixing them for you.
Yeah, but I only have 23.
It's all right, I'm like that too now.
Oh, are you?
It takes me a minute to contemplate what's going
Last
on.
one, the next one.
Oh, no, you're right. They were all together.
One more pass down, Rich. I got one more for you.
Sorry. So I think that's what we proposed previously, but.
It's a question to ask.
We'll have them sign another one of these. I don't care. Do you want to sign one of these too? I mean,
I think that's what he's gonna ask. Oh. 2023, 2024 budget is this year.
Yes, it is.
I think it says 30 days from the signed commitment.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to make sure we get the right ones.
I'm waiting for Matt. Matt's got some questions on it.
Okay. So on the retention agreement,
Yes.
without reading the whole thing, I guess our purpose would be for it to be the length of our contract. So would the first month be backdated to the fiscal year of the 23-24? And then would we get, basically with the raise, would we get the bonus sometime in that time frame, maybe October or November? The second bonus, the third bonus, and then it would die with the contract when the contract dies? And because the way it reads, in my opinion, it goes out past our contract.
Yeah, it does.
It does, but then it also makes other people eligible to sign it up until September 30th of 2024, which would go past your contract as well, so you don't want other people to be able to sign it.
I think it's good.
That's fine, as long as I would just make sure that they understood it went past.
Yeah, it's a retention agreement.
Right.
Right, so
It's not-
it's not going to die with the contract, no.
Okay.
Because you would have received your payments by then anyway, before the contract's over, right?
Yeah. Like Bill's is gonna retire. If he signs this, he would work for 3 years, backdated.
No, he's an indentured servant.
Might be what, depending on what Mr. Demore does with the place.
All right.
So
He doesn't get paid enough, I guarantee you.
keep this as is then?
Yeah, I think so, because it allows our new hires to sign off on it, which would extend.
It's a retention, as long as they understood it went beyond contract, I don't know.
It's the same way we had it written last time, it just because
Yeah.
it was delayed.
Last time it went with the length of contract.
Only
Because it was only 2 years
Because,
last time.
yeah.
This is
Yeah.
3 years.
It's 3 years.
I think we're gonna discuss this a little further.
Okay, that's fine.
You want me to talk about the pay?
Hmm?
You want me to ask about the pay?
Yeah.
So we were curious on how a retroactive check would work and how that would be paid. Because if it's added to a regular check, and then we do have a retention bonus on there, plus the amount of overtime we work already, we feel like it'd be very hard to kind of break down where our pay is and ensuring everything's correct. And we don't want to have to go through the process of trying to grieve that if our pay is in fact incorrect and there's 3 different types of pay on there.
So if you do it as a separate check, then it's taxed with
Right, you don't wanna
it's a
do that.
different
Right.
tax rate. That's
Right, it'd be the 27% of the gift tax.
We were just saying on separate checks.
You mean, one pay period, you get your retro,
Yes.
another
Right.
pay period, you get your bonus. Okay.
Would that be
And
possible?
I don't know.
I can talk to payroll about that, but I. Yeah, because I know retro is going to take some time to compute, so it just depends, and
The time
there's
around for that.
a lot of you, so it just depends on how quickly they get it.
Okay.
But I.
When they do the retro, they do it off total hours, correct? So if I had 110 hours, my overtime started at 82. So my raise is 2 plus, it would just call it 2. So at 82, I reached the $2. I get the $2 for the whole 110 hours, but then I would get $3 for the overtime after 82, correct? Okay. Just making sure the computer or whoever does it knows what they're doing.
Yeah, so I don't believe that would be a problem having it on
It wouldn't
different
call
So you don't
pay
have retro
periods.
bonus and everything in one check.
Okay.
Anything
So
else?
we need to
And
discuss
do you want to
this.
talk about the other articles, or?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we just printed 17, 23, and 25, consistent with our previous proposals. Well, we added in the wallet, like you guys asked, on 23. So. You want to take a look at those and let me know if you're okay with those or not.
Tim? We only have one copy, so don't pass them down.
Okay, I see 23, they added the well.
Yep.
We can borrow that one.
Okay.
Everything else should be the same as it was last contract, right?
So here's the old one, maybe the same one.
17's a little different. Doesn't say to the same extent. But that's fine.
But we didn't try to change it.
It just sucks really hard.
Yeah, that part.
I did it.
Can you copy it? Okay. Take those over to me.
Well, there's caucus on appendix B.
Like for maybe 10 minutes, if that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It won't be long.
Oh, yeah, oops. Yep. You handed that to me when you walked in. So do we have everything? Do you want a few minutes to talk about the retention? Yeah, no, it's not a problem.
Object to us using the briefing room, 6:30 PMs 2 nights, and then 6:30 AMs 2 mornings, and have a vote right there? Is there any law violated or anything?
No, there isn't.
No issue.
All right, then
Just
we
let me know, I'll let our people know it's good.
once we
When get
have,
the dates, yeah, we'll sit down and get.
once we have the TA copies, Ms. Pender will put it out to everybody, or you're gonna put it out to everybody, obviously. We'll vote next week, and you need a vote before the 20th.
Before Friday. Friday before the 20th. If they do that.
Okay.
The 16th.
Oh, okay, that.
We can do that.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, the 16th. Thanks.
Yeah, 20th is a night meeting. Just so you know.
You guys are ruining Valentine's Day. Not my fault, Angie.
It'll be one of the
No,
first,
this-
oh,
this- that one's finished.
that's good, too. It'll be one of the first items on the agenda, though. Not
Okay.
that necessarily.
I gotta go to council again?
Yeah. It's a night meeting, starts at 4:30. 4.
Okay. All right.
You don't have to go. You want me last time?
Yes.
When did Jeff Brown come?
Yes.
All right.
So I will scan this over to you today.
Okay.
Print it up to be the.
Yes, ma'am. I wasn't paying attention.
We're good.
I don't know. if
Did you guys
wanna
wanna speak
use
to Mr.
both
Gilmore?
his names.
If we could for a minute afterwards, off camera. and
When cameras go off, Mr. Gilmore, we have 5 minutes of your time?
All right. I guess crossing my fingers worked. I'm gonna do that on future negotiations. Thank
Are you
you.
gonna go work for
Thank you.
Fisher Phillips?
What's that?
You
No,
gonna be the lead guy there, or gal?
I'm not gonna be doing this anymore. This
Why?
labor.
This work.
Well, where I'm going. I'm
They're
doing
This is
desperately
the
looking
first
for
time I'm not
lawyers.
getting upset and want to hit somebody in the face.
Matt, I'm gonna go back over there.
something.
Okay.
Yeah.